Welcome to Health Hats, the podcast.
He said again, you got to be careful. Canada geese, beautiful ducks on the streams, any beautiful ducks on ponds. You have to be very mindful of that. So when it came down to, the shoes that I wear hiking never touch the farm, that's still true. But
What
then he
about
said,
flying over?
so that's the next issue, because you think, he says, he points to the sky. A flock of Canada geese flies over and they poop. They shit. And that's on the driveway in the pasture. One of the things that we try to be an integrated system, we don't shoot coyotes. We try to have good fencing to train coyotes. Coyotes are a real threat to my sheep flock. And boy, do they linger. At night, you hear them singing, oh my God, please stay on the other side of the fence. So what we try to do is we try to have a healthy habitat on the farm. And you would think you'd want to obliterate the coyotes. Interesting fact about coyotes, the more you shoot them, the more they breed. So you really just have to learn to have them as neighbors. And that neighborly relationship is actually tying into bird flu for us, because we have maintained really good hedgerows on the farm that are rich in things that do feed coyotes, mice and squirrels and things like that. And then we try to maintain really good electric fences to teach the coyotes, you can have the mice and the squirrels, you cannot have the sheep, and you cannot have our lambs. So that means we have coyotes surrounding the valley floor of the farm. And what we started to piece together is we don't really see a lot of wild fowl in the farm. We don't see them on the farm ponds, and we don't see them in the creeks or anything. The coyotes are buffering us. So we make sure they have good habitat. It looks like they are helping, knock on wood, but they do seem to be helping to keep those wildfowl on the other side of where we are raising our farm fowl. And they do seem to be helping us right now. But they can still fly overhead. So, yes, there's still a risk there. What we do for that is we show up on the farm. The good thing about avian flu is it is easy to kill. A lot of the protocols that we use for COVID are going to carry right over to avian flu. We just have to think about it in terms of what's on our feet, not what's on our faces. And because unless you're eating shit, Danny, then you have to think about that. And if you're eating shit and kissing chickens, then you got to think about it. But if you're not doing that, you got to really think about your shoes first. And what we do is with Dr. Scrafford, we discussed the power of soap and water. But what he has taught us many times over the years, he doesn't show up on the farm without giving us a lecture about how to properly wash boots, because a veterinarian should not show up on your farm without doing a boot wash either, because farm vets go from farm to farm too. So a proper boot wash needs to happen every time chores start. And a proper boot wash means soap and water in the bucket, you need a scrub brush, but the scrub brush can never touch your clean soap and water. If you're in healthcare, you're probably more familiar with this than even I am. But we've always thought about farmers, we wear our shit military stripes and medals, right? We're used to working with the salt of the earth here. But no, we have to be pretty clean about this. We have the scrub brush, we have soapy water, and we have a scoop. And the scoop lifts up the soapy water. It goes on to the boot and the scrub brush never touches the clean soapy water. So we're always approaching the boots with clean soapy water, and you can't contaminate that soapy water. That's how you properly scrub a boot. Then we walk from the farmhouse out. The first thing we go to is the chickens while we are as clean as possible. These are the laying hens. So right now I don't have meat birds on the farm. Again, they're not going to come till after May 31st. I have layers, though. Right now I have about 150 layers on the farm. And in the wintertime, we need to keep them indoors. They don't like to be outdoors in the winter. And then we're at the threshold of the chicken pen, the chicken coop. At that point, we wash again, because maybe a bird shit in the driveway as we were walking out. and maybe we stepped in it. So we stop there, and at that point, we have a like an orchard sprayer that you might use for putting insecticides or things like that. We have it loaded up with a vinegar sanitizing solution, just vinegar water. And then, yep. So at that point, we take the sprayer and we spray down again with the vinegar solution.
I host, write, and produce Health Hats the podcast with assistance from Kayla Nelson and Leon and Oscar Van Leeuwen. Music from Joey Van Leeuwen. I play Barry sax on some episodes alone or with the Lechuga Fresca Latin Band. I'm grateful to you who have the critical roles as listeners, readers, and watchers. Subscribe and contribute. If you like it, share it. See you around the block.